Hello, welcome to the Introduction to Solids recording delivered by the 0 to 19 Hampshire and Isle of Wight Healthcare NHS Trust. My name is Sian.
And my name is Jamie.
And we are both community nursery nurses working within the Trust. In this section, we will be covering how to know your baby is ready to introduce solids, when to start and how you can do this, how to prepare and how to store the foods. Ready or not? There are a couple of videos that you may have watched on introducing solids via the Hampshire Healthy Families website. However, if you haven't, not a problem, we can have a little look at those signs of readiness now. So the first thing that we talk about is, are they able to sit and hold their head steady? This doesn't mean that they need to sit unaided. This just means if they're in a sitting position, they've got good head control and they are able to hold their head steady without it flopping from side to side. Do they have hand, eye and mouth coordination? So they're able to look at the food, pick it up and put it in their mouths all by themselves. And are they able to swallow the food? Babies who are not ready for food will push it back out, so they end up with more around their face than what they do in their mouths. It's rare for these signs to appear together before the baby is 6 months. Some signs that can often be misinterpreted as your baby being ready for solids is a slow weight gain, waking up more frequently in the night, or because he or she appears that they are more hungry because they're sucking on their fingers or drooling. These are all normal stages of your baby's development, and your babies will explore things with their mouths. To begin with, solids is less important than getting them used to the idea of eating. They will get most of their energy and nutrition from their breast milk and their formula milk. So some equipment on there just that we talk about that's kind of good to have in for when you're starting your solids is a high chair. Your baby needs to be sitting safely and strapped in the upright position so that they can swallow properly. Plastic bowls. The picture on the screen shows one with a suction base. These are just really good ones, otherwise you're quite likely to end up with your baby's food on the floor just where they may tap the bowl or knock the bowl. And again, we recommend soft weaning spoons, usually made of plastic or rubber, just as they're a bit easier on your baby's gums. Any bib is okay, but a plastic or a pelican bib is easier to clean. And of course, a first cup, a free flowing cup without a valve are the best, as this will help your baby learn to sip and it is better for their teeth. Encourage your baby to sip water from a cup with all of their meals, and it is recommended that only tap water, breast milk or infant formulas are given. If your baby is under 6 months, you will need to boil the tap water first, then let it cool down. Bottled water is not suitable for making up feeds as it isn't sterile, so you will need to use boiled water before first making up your infant formulas, and never add anything into the bottle such as baby rice or cereals. Sterilising baby bowls, feeding spoons, beakers, they do not need to be sterilised. They can be washed up with warm soapy water and placed in the dishwasher if safe to do so. However, you will need to continue to sterilise your feeding bottles and teats for as long as they are used.
To start with, your baby only needs a small amount of solid food, approximately 1/2 to 3 teaspoonfuls once a day, and a time that suits you both. When you don't feel rushed and your baby is not too tired, preferably one that is close to your own meal times. Milk will still provide all your baby's nutritional needs, moving towards eating 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch and tea by around 7 to 9 months. And as your baby gradually increases their intake of solid food, their milk intake will be reduced. You can offer solid foods before their milk feed or after milk feeds. Again, there is no right or wrong, whichever is more suitable for your baby. It may take several tries for your baby to get used to new foods, flavours and textures. There'll be days when they eat more, some less, and then days when they reject everything. Don't worry, this is perfectly normal. Be patient and keep offering a variety of foods, even the ones they don't seem to like. Eating is a new skill. Allow plenty of time, go at your baby's pace, and stop when they show signs that they have had enough.
The aim is to introduce babies to new tastes and textures as they become accustomed to handling food, feeling it in their mouth and swallowing it. Most babies will be ready to try a variety of textures at this age. Smooth foods can be prepared by cooking foods well, pushing them through a sieve, or blending them a little with breast milk, infant formula, or full fat cow's milk if over the age of 6 months old. Smooth foods should have no big lumps, pips, seeds, or skin. Mashed foods are simply raw or cooked foods mashed to a smooth but slightly lumpy consistency. This can usually be achieved by mashing with a food fork, using their milk to aid the mashing where needed. Finger foods are pieces of food such as soft cooked fruit, vegetable sticks that baby can hold and use to feed themselves. Finger foods and self-feeding helps the baby to develop chewing skills, hand-eye coordination. It gives the baby control of what they eat as opposed to being led by their parent when they are feeding pureed food with a spoon. It can be useful to make finger foods slightly bigger than your baby's hand so that they are able to grip things with their fist. The size of an adult's finger is usually a good guide. How much your baby eats depends on their appetite. Every baby will be different, and let your baby guide you. Be responsive to your baby when giving them solid foods. Take their cues as you would with their milk feeds. Learn their signs for being hungry. If they lean towards food, have an open mouth, or getting excited when they see food, shows that they are hungry, and when they are full, they will push it away, close their mouth, or turn their head away. Stop when they have had enough. Baby-led weaning means offering your baby only finger foods and letting them feed themselves from the start, rather than spoon feeding them with pureed or mashed foods. Some parents prefer baby-led weaning to spoon feeding, while others combine a bit of both. There is no right or wrong way. The most important thing is that your baby eats a wide variety of food and gets all the nutrients that they need. Although we often recommend starting with vegetables, there is no evidence that your baby will develop a dislike for vegetables if fruits are given first. Babies are born with a preference for sweet tastes, and the order of introducing foods does not change this. You can consider giving your baby foods from all of the food groups, which are shown here on the screen: fruits and vegetables, starchy foods, protein foods, dairy foods. Tap water can be offered in a small cup or an open handled cup at meal times once the baby starts their solid foods at around 6 months. Drinking water for babies over 6 months does not need to be boiled. Giving babies water to drink once they start eating their solids may also quench any thirst, but it's also important to familiarise them with the taste and learn to like the plain water. A balanced diet from all of these food groups will help them get the vitamin, minerals, fats and proteins that they need, although milk continues to provide the majority of energy and nutrients required in the early stages of complementary feeding. Iron is particularly important as they'll have low stores of it around 6 months of age. Try and include iron-rich foods in their meals such as meat, chickpeas, kidney beans and butter beans, as well as a fortified breakfast cereal.
Food for babies can simply be prepared from family meals. They will have the benefit of tasting the true flavour and looking at the true colour. It can also be suitably textured to encourage their swallowing and chewing skills, and there won't be any added extras such as additives. Some jars and pouches state they are suitable from 4 months. This can be really confusing for parents. Although there is nothing in these foods which can harm your little one, they may contain milk or wheat, which both are not recommended until your baby's 6 months old. Pouch-style foods are also worth a quick mention. Place it onto a spoon or bowl first. Sucking directly from the baby food pouch should be avoided, as this may impact on oral health. It doesn't allow them to see the food they are actually eating or how much they eat. Sucking from the pouch also changes the experience from chewing to sucking and may lead to overeating. The cost of using pouches for baby compared to making your own food meals is far higher and may not be sustainable economically for many families. Simple home-cooked family meals are easy to do and worth thinking about.
For food preparation, always wash and clean your hands, peel and cut into pieces, bring to boil and simmer until soft. Steaming or boiling in a pan of fresh water are suitable for options. Fresh veg or fruit will be better. However, frozen or tinned will do. We have previously mentioned, do not add any salt. If you need salt, add it to the table. Batch cooking. If you're batch cooking, cool down the food, ideally within 1 to 2 hours, then freeze or refrigerate. If you're keeping it in the fridge, use it within 2 days. If you are cooking and storing rice, you will need to make sure that it cools within an hour and then goes straight into the fridge or freezer. Rice kept in the fridge should be eaten within 24 hours and should never be reheated more than once. Keep raw meat and fish in a container at the bottom of the fridge just to avoid dripping onto any other food. For freezing, purees, mash, or place batons of finger foods into an ice cube tray when cool and then freeze. When frozen, remove them from the ice cube tray and place them into a bag. Write the day's date that you made it and then pop it back into the freezer. Remove the suitable portion from the bag and defrost thoroughly. Overnight in the fridge or defrost at breakfast for their lunch. Vegetables and fruit can be kept for up to 6 months in the freezer. However, if you add milk before freezing, it will only have a 2-month shelf life. So it's best to add milk after it has been defrosted. When reheating food, make sure it's steaming hot all the way through and then let it cool down before giving it to your baby.